right? Hey, I just wanted to come on, because something came to me. I'm retired, right? And I know that there are a lot of people who will be heading towards retirement, and just as many sometimes that are leaving out for retirement. You have those coming in to new employment, especially our young ones that are here to step in and take over for all of us who are retired, right? So let me give y'all a little word of advice. First of all, retirement is a wonderful thing. It truly, truly is. You get your life back, you get your time back. Oh my gosh, you don't have to make appointments around in the morning or in the middle of the day, or can I do it on my lunch hour, or 1 hour, 2 hours before you leave work. You just have pretty much control of your time. If you feel like getting up in the morning, you get up. If you don't, you don't. If you want to get up and just go, considering you don't have any young kids, because some older people do have certain children in their fold that they still need to take care of. But I want to tell you this, for the older ones, I'm sorry, for the mature ones who are headed out to retirement, let me give you a little word of advice. Try to make sure that you plan your retirement, right? 5 to 10 years in advance, you start planning it. And just know that in retirement, there are certain things that you want to make sure you have completed before you retire. Because most of us retire not on a millionaire's salary, right? Most of us retire and have good income, but still, in all, preparation is key. And so, there are some things you want to do. First of all, if you want to buy a vehicle, let's start there. If you want to buy a car and you say, my car is getting old, but I'm going to be retiring in about 5 years or 7 years. Nah, I don't want that. Buy the car. Buy the car while you're at that end part of retirement, right? But this is on the condition that you have the majority of your bills, your debt paid, right? You want to make sure that you do not go into retirement with a sizable amount of debt. So you work on cleaning up that debt, right? To where you can lower payments or be rid of certain debt before you go into retirement. You definitely want to do that. Make sure you go to your retirement seminars. Now, this part is for young, middle age, or the more mature adults. Go to the retirement seminars. When you first get a job, go to a seminar. After you pass your probation and you know that you're going to be on that job for a while, you go to a seminar. Because what happens is that you're not retiring now, right? But you are, if your plan is to be where you are for retirement, or if you decide to go somewhere else, what you're gaining is knowledge. What you want when you do, if God lets you live to see it, get to that retirement age where you want to be comfortable in retirement, where you don't have to stress about bills, right? So going there at the beginning gives you some insight, not only about where you are, but what other people will be facing when they retire. So you hear things that will allow you to say, hey, I don't want to do that. So let me gain information and knowledge. Now, the other times you take, as in the middle, this is for the people that are new, in the middle, say you've worked and you're like, okay, now I've been on this job for about 5 to 10 years. I want to do another seminar. Yes, do another seminar so that you can see where you are. Because now you're starting, especially if you're 10 years in, you're considering, oh, I'm going to have, depending on your age, I'm going to have anywhere, maybe another 10 years. I might be able to retire in 20 years. You might have to do more. But if you go there at the middle, now you are seeing what it looks like at that time. You're seeing what your retirement will look like at that time. How are things progressing? How are things changing? What is looking like for laws, right now and maybe 2 to 5 years from now? So you go. You go. You know you're not about to retire, but you go, right? You do, believe me. And then when you're getting ready to retire, right now you're at an age, say you're done 20 years, and it's like, oh, I'm thinking about retiring, but I ain't gonna retire for, I'm gonna do about maybe another 10 years on the job. Do you at least 3 different times that you go to a retirement seminar? Because now you're planning. You're at that stage where it's like, okay, now I'm on the down end where I'm going to be getting ready to leave this wonderful job that I have given so many of my years, my youth, whatever it is, to this job. And I want to make sure that when I retire and I'm older, because you got to keep in mind, you're going to be at least 20 years older. For those who started younger, at least 20 years older than what you were when you started working on your fabulous, wonderful job that you decided you were going to retire from. And you want to say, when I retire, I want to make sure that I'm not going to have a lot of debt. I want to make sure that my mortgage, that I can still afford my mortgage, because it depends on when you decided to buy your home. So you want to make sure that you're going to be able to afford your mortgage. If you're renting, you want to make sure that are you still going to be able to afford your lease agreement, right? The amount that you have to pay for your rent or your lease. These are the things you need to consider. And some people are able to retire before retirement age, right? If you're able to retire before retirement age, meaning the Social Security, you want to make sure you don't have to draw down that at an earlier age, because then you get a penalty, and you don't want a penalty. So this is why you go to the retirement seminars, at least for 3 times, so that you can know what is your retirement age. Did anything change? What are the new laws? Because it's constantly changing, right? So you also want to make sure, what is my income to debt ratio? What will that look like when I retire? Will I be able to sustain and be comfortable working? Comfortable in retirement with the income that I'm going to get. Because what happens, unless you work for a entity where you get paid once a month, when you get paid in retirement, it is once a month. They say it's at the beginning of each month. So that's an adjustment. So what I would suggest is start putting your mindset and adjust to modifying your pay. Even if you get paid 2 or 3 times a month, however it may be, when you know that you're about to that you're thinking of retirement, say about 5 years, give yourself some time. Start modifying the way you do your bills, so that now you are adjusting to being paid once a month, so that when you retire, that won't be a problem for you because you've already adjusted your time and your money and your bills to being paid on a certain time per month, which means this is what I mean by that. Start adjusting your bill payments to correspond with being paid once a month. So if you usually pay a bill that is due by the 13th of the month, you can keep it there, right? Or you can say, hey, I want to make this payment between the first and the fifth of the month, right? Between the fifth of the month. That way, you're in your finances to be able to correspond with a one-time or monthly payment, which is at the is they say the beginning of the month, and not exaggerate, hesitate a little bit there because with some, it's like some people might get it like between say the 28th and the first of each month, right? And so you want to make sure that you adjust all your bills, all your bills, and to be paid around that time between the first and the fifth of each month, right? All your debt, start paying off your debt. Pay off the shortest one first, the lowest. Pay it off, and do not, whatever you do not uh, like if it's a small credit card, do not take it back up. You know, sometimes you might have to use it for emergency purposes, but pay it off. Pay it off. So pay off your smallest debt first, then take that money and apply it to your next smallest debt. Now, keeping in mind, you're doing all this within the 5 year period because you're planning. Because there's two payments you know you're going to always have. There's two payments you're always going to have. Well, two big ones: your mortgage, right? Or lease agreement to rent, because you have to have a place to stay. And those are going to be your two highest bills. And they already fall before between the first and the fifth of the month, hopefully, right? So do that. And then when you get ready to retire, if you follow a protocol that you set for yourself by paying off your debt, right? By paying off as much of your debt as you can. And when you see that, oh, I paid this debt off, but I got an old vehicle and I don't really want, I haven't bought a vehicle, say, in 10, 15 years, right? I done paid off my debt, increased your credit score, right? You've increased your credit score, you've paid off your debt. You do want to be able to buy you a vehicle. You get your vehicle, let that be the only big purchase that you buy, right? Because you want to pay that off within the specified months, right? To change. And you want to prepare yourself for that, right? During the 5 year period. So I just wanted to come on and give y'all a little suggestions about retirement, because there's going to be a lot of people retiring because we're, you know, especially the baby boomers. We're already at that age. It is time to move aside and let the babies come on in and take on, you know, the mantle. And it's time for them to bring in their life, their experiences, which I know is not as much, but they're going to gain, right? And we got to move aside. But let's leave some knowledge for what they may want to do, because one day they're going to be the person that's up for retirement. And we need to make sure they understand, right? So back to retirement. Now, you done got your bills all set up to where you're paying them between the first and the fifth of every month. You done paid off your debt. You done been to, as you're older, you done been to the retirement seminar so that you can know where you stand in retirement at this time, right? You want to know how much money, right, will will I be bringing in if I retire today? I didn't say tomorrow. I didn't say a year from now, right? Even though in the retirement seminar, it will show that. And then you also want to know, do I have all the retirement hours in? Do I have those in, right? And they will answer all your questions. And you ask as many questions as possible regarding the Social Security benefits, right? hmm Along with your retirement. Because if you're lucky enough and you can retire at a younger age, meaning 50 or above, and you're able to sustain on that retirement benefit coming in, your pension coming in every month until you get to the retirement age. That's a great thing because you don't have to take the penalty. So these are questions. What will my penalty be if I retire before retirement age, and if I decided to draw down Social Security, right? How does that impact my pension? This is why it's so important to go to retirement seminars so that you are able to get all this information. And I come on to tell you this because a lot of people simply do not know what to do. What they hear is, oh, I am retired and I love it. Yeah, from people who are who prepared, right? That don't have to take a second job. But what about those who retirement is not in that area, right? Learn about it before you make that huge decision to retire, right? Y'all got that, right? You got it, you got it, you got it, you got it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the seminar. You're going to go to the seminar, and then after you go to the seminar, you're going to say, okay, I know where I stand. These are the amount of years now that I'm going to continue to work before I retire. And then you're going to go to another seminar, right, before you get ready to retire. So now it's like, all right, I'm ready to finalize this thing. I'm about to go ahead on and retire. Now I know how much income is going to be coming in. And I've paid off all my debt. No state or federal taxes, or I paid that down as much as I possibly can to where I can sustain reasonable monthly payments, right? I done bought my car, right? Or your house, whatever you want to buy, right? Just know that when we leave and the good Lord calls us, we ain't taking it with us anyway. But it's okay if that you're saying, yes, but I want these things, right? So I'm just telling you all this because I love you. And I do hear a lot about people who are ready to retire. And then they're like, I'll ask, well, have you gone to the seminar? And they be like, huh? I'm like, yeah, the retirement seminar. You need to go to the retirement seminar. And they'll say, no, I didn't really know about that.